Hi, it's Miles Red Songbird, the Michelle Birdsong. You're looking at a copy of the book on Amazon Kindle that I just published, Conspiracies of God and Country, Universal Deceit. Okay, now we're mentioning some clues to you. The Judgment Day report. Judgment Day has been going on for years, about 2 or 3 years. On the rich and powerful Catholic Church and the then billionaire who, in today's money, would have been a trillionaire against the truth. Okay, I'll see what I'm doing. Alright, this is a report on the rich and powerful Catholic Church against Galileo, Robin Birdsong, and the then billionaire fake Jew George Soros and fake Jew J. Pierpont Morgan, who, according to the latest reports, was a puppet for the Rothschild. In today's money, would have been a trillionaire, Nikola Tesla, the Michelle Birdsong, against the truth. True you, the heaven on earth, Michelle Birdsong. The bird flies above and sees the good as well as the scoundrels below. Stevie Wonder, Judas. Video I'm telling you about mention includes privileged Epstein Jesuit homosexuals, E. Michael Jones and Daniel Long. Talk about Jewish privilege. The people who call themselves Jews are fake Jews. E. Michael Jones defends the all-powerful Catholic Church that squelched the findings of Copernicus as confirmed by astronomer Galileo when he built a telescope 30 times more powerful than the one the Dutch had invented. Galileo was able to see through his telescope that the Earth revolved around the sun. The sun, we got a picture here of the sun. I took it myself. There you are. The sun is all-powerful and provides light and food to the earth. The earth is dependent on the almighty sun. Google Books. Galileo, Robin Birdsong, made the first effective use of his refracting telescope to discover important new facts about astronomy. His observations led him to support Copernicus's claim that Earth and the other planets circle the sun. This is from the National Geographic published book, Galileo, the Genius Who Faced the Inquisition by Philip Steele. Let's see if I have more on that. Radiographics. We will never know who would have gotten the Nobel Prize for the discovery of X-ray. This is about Tesla. Had Tesla's work not been lost together with his New York laboratory. The least we can do is appreciate Tesla's pioneer work in the invention and application of X-rays. Video. This is very good. I very much recommend it. Google, what caused Nikola Tesla's 1895 lab fire? Gary Light channel. John Pierpont Morgan Tesla had beat out $2.6 trillion in today's money. No, John Pierpont Morgan had $2.6 trillion in today's money. Tesla had beat out Thomas Edison's company. J. Pierpont Morgan had controlling interest in it. Morgan was furious at Tesla. Sources say Morgan had Tesla's lab destroyed. George Soros, J.P. Morgan, wanted Tesla to sell him his patents and his businesses. Tesla realized if his patents and businesses were in the hands of such a rich and powerful man as Morgan, his inventions would never benefit the common man. The fire destroyed all of his research papers, notes and journals and patents, leaving Tesla penniless, except for Tesla's intuition and grace God raised to go out to eat. Tesla might have been burned up in the fire. After his death at age 86, FBI and National Defense Research Center, MIT professor John Trump were called in to investigate, though Tesla was an American citizen. His papers were being held in custody after his death. And what did they do with all that information? Tesla knew how to control the weather. Now, since 1958, I think it was, the military has been creating hurricanes and tornadoes and tsunamis and controlling the weather. So, let's see. The FBI examined Tesla's papers. After 3 days, they said there was nothing to worry about landing in data landing in unfriendly hands, because they took the data, In World War II, Tesla's papers were classified to keep his inventions from benefiting the common man. He had invented a way, it is said, for all, regardless of economic level, to receive free electricity. Nikola Tesla is one of the greatest scientific minds and inventors that the world has ever known, even though he is somewhat absent from our history books. He is the man who created the foundation for today's technology and lifestyle, narrated and created by Gary Light. Tesla is the Michelle Birdsong. Pigeon, Informal, North Carolina. Tesla liked pigeons because he was a pigeon. Pigeon definition: a gullible person, especially someone swindled in gambling or the victim of a confidence trick. He had confidence in people. And Americans. And American business people. Thomas Edison asked him to fix his DC energy output, and he would pay him. Some people said $50 million, some people said $12 million. Whatever it was, Tesla fixed it, and he didn't get paid anything. And Thomas Edison, it is said, you have to understand the sense of humor of Americans. Pigeon, a person who is a target or victim of a confidence game. I had confidence in Edwin Birdsong, my first husband, and Stevie Wonder, who said he was my friend. Stevie's $100 million and fame took my marriage partner and my business partner and left me with 2 children and poverty, the worst condition on earth, after I'd given both of them, Stevie Wonder and Edwin Birdsong, their start in the big time. Swindled, decoded. Stevie Wonder, IND is a train, the 8th Avenue subway. Stevie Wonder, train of thought, led in gambling. giving Angel Michelle Birdsong Bling album What It Is. Short shrift. Rapid, which is rapid and unsympathetic dismissal. So you see that Stevie Wonder train of thought led in giving short shrift to Angel Michelle Birdsong's Bling, which was the album What It Is. Stevie Wonder wins his train of thought led in giving short shrift. Oh, I just wrote it out for you, I see. Okay. A pigeon, a sucker, a gullible person. Michael Bublé, B-U-B-L-E. Michael Bublé married another pigeon. Michael Bublé is another pigeon, another sucker. He married and has given a heavenly life to Pontius Pilate. Luciano Lovato. Michael is a projection of Jesus Christ. You see the connection between Pontius Pilate and Jesus Christ? Pontius Pilate killed Jesus Christ. Asked if Michael sings for his wife, answer, she'd cringe. His son Noah was Gary Crosby, speaking of being a sucker. He and his brothers, Gary and his brothers, were very angry at their father, Bing Crosby, who they said neglected them, spending his time singing to strangers. Two of Gary's brothers were so mad they committed suicide, shooting themselves in the head. Noah Bublé brought his anger from when Bing was his dad to his singer, to strangers' dad, Michael Bublé. Noah is still mad. Michael feels fear and guilt. Noah, Gary, still made mad Michael feel, still mad, made Michael feel fear and guilt. Turning around Noah, Bublé, Gary Crosby, turning around himself by eating himself alive, turning against himself by eating himself alive, overproducing cells, which is creating cancer in his liver. Sliver, river, cry me a river, sings Michael Bublé. I've cried a river over you. Michael Bublé stopped working, stopped singing the beautiful songs he said he was born to sing. He had sang songs to his beloved first love, Eve. Love is forever, forever decoded. Field order, Eve, her. Forever is for Eve, her. E-V-E-R for her. Eve, her. As Elvis, as Sinatra, as Michael Jackson. Michael Bublé sang to Eve as Elvis, as Sinatra, as Michael Jackson. He said publicly, Tommy Mottola had a Sony Records as a devil. Then he, Michael Jackson, winds up dead at the young age of 51. I'm telling you, evil is just, they're gone berserk, just killing anybody they want to kill. Anybody who annoys them, they kill them. Galileo, in a nutshell. This is a new topic. Father of modern science. Nutshell educational channel. Galileo is now Robin Birdsong. He was an Italian physicist, a mathematician, an astronomer, astrologer, a philosopher, and one of the pioneers of the scientific method. Galileo overturned the world of Aristotelian, that's Aristotle's view, according to which the world can be explained primarily through logic. Aristotle has been reborn as Stefan Molyneux. In the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God. John 1:1, King James Version of the Bible. King James is Robin Birdsong. The Greek word for the Word is logos, which means reason, logic. Aristotle had claimed that the velocity of falling bodies, logically, even intuitively, falling bodies, objects is relative to their weight. Logically, even intuitively, it might sound right, but by putting this hypothesis to the test, Galileo proved that all objects fall at the same rate of acceleration. Aristotle claimed that falling objects maintain a constant speed. Galileo proved that speed increases proportional to the distance of the fall. Galileo also refuted the popular Aristotelian belief that Earth is fixed in the center of the universe, while the stars and planets are metaphysical beings that revolve around it. This is known as geocentrism. By means of his improved telescope, Galileo was able to discover 4 of Jupiter's moons, thus proving that celestial objects can orbit something other than the Earth, and the craters he discovered on the moon's surface refuted Aristotle's belief in the metaphysical nature of the heavens. Galileo then concluded that laws of physics applied equally throughout the universe. Galileo's discoveries confirmed the heliocentric model first put forward by Polish mathematician and astronomer Nicholas Copernicus, which argued that despite appearances, the sun neither rises nor sets. It is the Earth that is orbiting the sun. Unfortunately, and they still say the sun sets and rises, and this was proven so many years ago that it doesn't. Unfortunately, Galileo failed to convince the Church that heliocentrism does not contradict the Bible. The sewer and the dungeons of the Inquisition, however, did convince Galileo to recant. He was sentenced to house arrest for the remainder of his life and forbidden from publishing his writings. The ban on the complete uncensored works of Galileo was lifted only in 1835, almost 200 years after his, Robin Birdsong's, death. Galileo's paradigm-shifting contribution to a scientific method, daughter-made method, which is based on experiment, is the reason why he is considered by many historians the father of modern physics. Okay, we got a lot of words to decode. Decode method. Michelle, extraterrestrial, the heaven, odd data, made from a man. Michael, angel, became Angel Michelle, or Angel Michael became Angel Michelle, which is based, wait a minute, and then historians decoded heaven, clit, stick, sex, sun, true, story, her, I, sex, angel, nature, sex. Okay, sex is pleasure. So the angel nature is sex. So that's just saying what given the things that sex is the basis for life. Heaven, clit, and stick, sex, pleasure, sea, sun, true story. I, sex, angel, Michelle, enter, at true, you, her, Eve, sweet energy. Okay? I'd say the world is actually logical, but you have to be very deep to find the logic. That's the problem. It's not superficial. Letter of Earth's Motion, published in 1615 by Pablo Carreni, a Carmelite priest who had argued that heliocentrism was not incompatible with the Bible. In 1619, the congregation of the Index banned Johann Kepler, that was Robin Birdsong, projection of Galileo, Robin Birdsong, right, epitome of Copernican astronomy, along with all books that teach the motion of the earth and the immobility of the sun. Galileo lived during his years of house arrest in the residence of the friendly Archbishop of Siena. Later, back in his own villa, Giocello in Florence, Galileo, as Robin Birdsong, spoke to a group of psychologists, in Florence a few years back. Oh, Robin did that. Robin spoke to a group of psychologists in Florence a few years back, right? As Robin, though, not as Galileo. She didn't even know she was Galileo a few years back. In Florence, Galileo had leisure to work on his two new sciences, sciences, a key work in the history of physics, whose manuscript was smuggled to Protestant Holland and published there in 1638. That's why Galileo is known as the father of modern physics. History decoded. His true cross. See the cross? His story, cross. T-cross, grand cross, that aspect in astrology. During his tour of Italy, the great English poet John Milton, Milton Harris, who is here at St. Francis of Assisi, Eve de Michel Bergson discovered that John Milton was her father. He was the author of Paradise Lost. At St. Francis of Assisi, Robin Birdsong was St. Francis of Assisi. Residence 3 in Chelsea, Manhattan, New York. 2019 lives John Milton as Milton Harris, resident, father in past life of de Michel Birdsong. Robin Birdsong, Galileo's mother this life. John Milton found the elderly Galileo, that's Robin Birdsong, secluded in his Florentine villa. Milton alluded to this in his famous plea to the English Parliament for freedom of the press. 2019, English can get arrested for speaking unfavorably about a fake Jew because they own businesses and are very rich. And least, okay, so this is what Milton was saying, and least some should persuade you, lords and common, that these arguments of learned men's discouragement at this your order are mere flourishes and not real. I could recount what I have seen and heard in other countries where this kind of inquisition tyrannizes. When I have sat among their learned men, for that honor I had and been counted happy to be born in such a place of philosophic freedom as they supposed England was. Note, this is a note from me. See Paul Joseph Watson, Abraham and Sarah's son, Isaac. Abraham was Tommy Robbins. Sarah was de Michel Birdsong. London is a shithole. That's Paul Joseph Watson's video, London is a Shithole. Check it out. It will familiarize you with the current day London. While themselves did nothing, this is back to John Milton's talk to the English Parliament. While themselves did nothing but bemoan the servile condition into which learning amongst them now was brought, that this was it which had damped the glory of Italian wits, that nothing that had been there written now these many years but flattery, fustian. There it was that I found and visited the famous Galileo, grown old, a prisoner to the Inquisition, for thinking in astronomy otherwise than the Franciscans and Dominican licenses thought. Aeropagtiaca, 1644. Okay, it's simply saying that the learned men are discouraged because, like Galileo, the Inquisition silenced him, censored him. Someone said, Philip Morgan said of inventions, if it can't be monetized, we don't want it. Okay. Galileo died in his bed in 1642, aged 77, his will to live long since taken from him. During the next half-century, as the reality of the Earth's motion around the sun came to be universally accepted by educated Europeans, the Church may have appreciated the prudence of not having treated Galileo, Robin Birdsong, more harshly. In practice, many Catholic astronomers adopted the Copernican system, but the formal pronouncements against it continued for a long time to prevent them from presenting it as a true physical account. As late as 1820, a Catholic cleric named Giuseppe Sedley was refused permission by the ecclesiastical censor for the city of Rome to publish an astronomical textbook that presented heliocentrism as straightforwardly true. This caused such embarrassment that the Pope had to intervene to authorize publication of Sedley's book. The ban on the books by Copernicus, Kepler, Galileo Projection, and Galileo, now Robin Birdsong, was fully lifted only in 1835. In 1992, Pope John Paul II responded to the report on the Galileo affair by a commission of the Pontifical Academy of Sciences with a speech in which he declared that the era of the Church, when they maintained the centrality of the earth, was to think that our understanding of the physical world structure was in some way imposed by the literal meaning of the sacred scripture. Scripture decoded. See her, rest in peace. Don't. True pleasure. Oh, wait a minute. See her, rest in peace. The clit and the stick is example of pleasure. Picture. That had been Galileo's defense all along. That the Bible, King James, Robin Birdsong teaches us how to go to heaven and not how the heavens go. After quoting that powerful pronouncement, the eminent theoretical physicist Steven Weinberg adds that, in my own view, this is quite inadequate. The Church, of course, cannot avoid the knowledge, now shared by everyone, that it had been wrong about the notion of the earth. But suppose the Church had been correct and Galileo mistaken about astronomy. As John ordered my eye so he can see Michelle, her Eve energy, her. And then down here it says, as sun, true, here, ordered, enter. Order my eye so he can see Michelle, Eve energy, her. The Church would still have been wrong to sentence Galileo to imprisonment and deny his right to publish, just as it had been wrong to burn Giordano Bruno, heretic as he was. Okay, well that's that guy's opinion, Steven Weinberg's opinion. Okay, that's it. I'll be doing another video very soon. So long.